When you want your spring break to feel like... and your kids' pool day to feel like... and your hotel bed to feel like... ooh, and room service to feel like... because at Hilton, hospitality feels like...
Your cabana's ready. Would you like fresh towels?
It matters where you stay. Book now at Hilton.com. Hilton, for the stay.
Hi, it's Victor Hedman from the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Hedman with a drive, score!
The NHL Stadium Series is coming to the Sunshine State. Watch as we take on the Boston Bruins in the 2026 NHL Stadium Series in Tampa. Catch all the action on Sunday, February 1st on ESPN. Visit NHL.com/Stadium Series for tickets and more information. That's NHL.com/Stadium Series, and I'll see you February 1st.
All right, welcome back to the Survival and Basic Badass Podcast. All right, so I want to talk about, are we kind of leaning a little bit more towards a police state with all these ICE raids and everything going on? Things are getting a little hairy. I just don't like the government overreach might be pushing it just a little bit. People thought, I guess if you're going to be the big sheriff and come in and clean up everything, then you got to take tough action. But shooting priests in the face, is that, Kevin? Is that the new MO?
Yes, I got two of them so far. So far that I've noticed. Two pastors at least shot in the face.
Pepper spray balls, right?
Pepper spray balls, yeah. But I mean, at point blank range. It's not a bullet. He didn't kill him. Just fucked him up real good.
Oh, man. It doesn't sound good for America. It's not a good look, I mean, that's the whole thing. They talk about, and it's kind of one of those things, like the more you fight back or try and say, hey, this is a problem. Oh, you're the problem? Is it because you're doing something wrong? Kevin, if you have nothing to hide, then you don't have anything to worry about.
That's right. I
don't know. It's
just have to obey the laws.
Kevin, obey the law.
The gas flag now actually says obey.
Yield to my will. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. Everybody's like, oh, well, they need to be able to control things and we have to do things, but it is getting a little, and I gotta say, I've been, it always started, my big thing was, the ATF would come in and shoot the dog and whatever, how often all the stories about, we executed a warrant, but it was the wrong house, or, oh yeah, there were like kids in there and we throw in flashbangs and, whatever. The guy's asleep. You're outside with like thermal scope and you're looking, you can see everybody's asleep. But you're like, oh, no, let's just throw in a couple of flashbangs just in case.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting a little hairy, Kevin.
It is. It's cold outside. Normally people get wound up when it's hot, hot weather does it. But when it's 20 below, I mean, people being aggressive in 20 below, that's rare,
Yeah, no, exactly. You'd think it would be cooling it off. Well, maybe this big cold front that we're getting right now is going to, make the difference. There's going
to be an ice storm when Ted Cruz flees the country.
That's the rule?
Yeah, he's gone. He ran from ice and headed down to Mexico.
Kevin, that's a normal reaction if you had rich politician money.
Yeah.
A normal reaction.
Rafael Cruz fleeing ice.
I don't know. All right. So what's been going on? What is upsetting everybody, and why are we so rattled? And why does ICE feel the need to not, like, don't they just go to the local fast food, and isn't that where everybody is in everybody's mind, that they're just working the Home Depot? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that there's an estimated 130,000 illegal immigrants in Minnesota.
Okay.
There's an estimated 4 million in Texas and an estimated 2 million in Florida, but they're not in Texas or Florida.
Where are they, Kevin?
They're in Minnesota.
Smart.
Obviously.
Well, that's the thing. You start like a little uprising and you trick them into coming to you.
That's it. That's it.
That way you save on your budget of rounding them up. You draw them into you. That's how you would do it.
So last month, a woman in Chicago was shot 5 times by Border Patrol because Chicago is not on the border.
Right on the border. The border of yeah, I'm not sure again. But let's
not
just
near
move
any
on.
border, really. Yeah. So they shot her 5 times and charged her as a terrorist. She didn't die. I mean, I've never been shot once, but I don't feel like getting shot 5 times is something you survive from, but she did. They swore under oath that she pulled a gun and rammed them. Then video came out and it showed actually they rammed her.
And they were the ones pulling the guns?
Her gun never left her holster, a legally owned gun.
Right.
So the charges, but it seems like in this case, the federal government didn't stop a threat. They invented one and shot an innocent woman and then lied to cover it up.
That does sound like our government.
That, I mean, actually is a crime, but nobody was.
So we arrested people, right?
That was shot, yeah. So if you're a federal agent, you have absolute immunity, so you can just do whatever the fuck you want, right?
Because the government's above the law.
Right. They don't have to obey the law.
And
they can decide what the law is and enforce it, but they are not held to the same standard.
That sounds accurate. Sounds very accurate. I'm a little concerned of the whole thing. Kevin, I wish things would shape up a little different. I think one of the things is if you choose the job, right? You want to be the guy to go into law enforcement because you're like, oh, this sounds really cool. I like guns. So I should run around and, you played a lot of cowboys and I guess it's cowboys and robbers now because cowboys and Indians isn't politically correct.
Yeah. No, I mean, they're ISIS.
Or did they just not play with guns anymore as kids?
ISIS detaining Indians too. So they are criminals.
They're fair game. Okay.
Yeah.
So, so you go around, you want to be a cop and
because you want to protect people. Not because you like guns.
Right? They used to write that on the side of the car. And then not so much anymore.
They don't have an obligation to protect them.
I always thought it should say like harass and annoy. but now it's just like shoot in the face. They just put that on the side. We're the shoot in the face squad. But the thing is, I guess where I was going with that before I got sidetracked with all the fun slogans is you need to maybe there you go. You need to maybe decide that, hey, I'm in control. And if you're set off by anything that anybody says, you maybe need to have a little more patience. I know, cops. Now, I would think federal agents are supposed to be pretty upper level citizens, right? I mean, it's not easy, I would think, to become a federal agent. Now, I know in South Park, we were learning that ICE, they just kind of were hiring anybody at the time, but I don't really know. I haven't looked into that. I assume there's some truth to it. There usually is when South Park comes up with a clever skit. There's some kind of reasoning for it, But anyway, if you choose that job and you're a federal agent, you're getting paid reasonably well. You're considered to be a, successful person. You get to carry a badge and a gun and run around the world and you're free in America to move about with firearms. I feel like it used to be you were held to a higher standard. And that was a thing, people would look at you and say, all right, that guy, he's going to, be responsible. He's the reasonable one coming in the room. But now they're just acting with like reckless authority of I can do whatever I want. And it's like people are so intimidated. They hear the stories on the news. They get all, worked up and, oh God, he's going to kill me. They're just randomly shooting people and you're terrified. So people panic and they act in a panicked way. And honestly, I hate to say it, but part of society, I think everybody's some kind of like PTSD shell shocked from COVID, where after COVID, when we get around public or have to actually talk to people, most people are so sheltered now that we don't interact with others. All the malls have closed down and that kind of thing. So we don't socially interact. If you don't go to church or something, you don't even deal with people. I go to Walmart and I get frightened and, upset. So I can understand, when somebody shows up with a gun and they're pointing it in your face, the news is telling you all day long that guns are the most terrifying thing in the world. People panic, they don't know what to do. And they just, hit the gas. I got to get out of here. You have that, fight or flight kind of thing. And they're like, I got to go. And then apparently the cops are like, well, obviously this woman's trying to kill us all. And they just pull out the gun and start blasting. I mean, is that it?
I mean, it's happened. It's happened a couple of times. I feel like if I was trying to enforce laws, at the bare minimum, I wouldn't be wearing a mask. You know what I mean? I feel like that kind of defeats the purpose of giving yourself authority and, you know what I mean? Hide out who you are. Right. I know district attorneys get threatened all the time by people they put in jail, but they don't wear masks,
No, they just go out and do it.
Just because somebody because a criminal doesn't like you doesn't mean that you can just hide who you are. I feel like that's kind of fucked up.
Maybe if we arrest the bad guys and we don't harass everybody else or do things that we're ashamed of, then maybe we wouldn't have to worry about retaliation. Is that possible?
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable thing to think.
A reasonable statement. So what else is going on? I mean, there's a lot of instances. We're not just drawing this from nothing. There's a lot going on. I mean, they're just stacking up. And it's always one of the things, like I used to get in trouble because I would talk bad about a group of people because I would say, but the community isn't saying, hey, this is wrong. Right. I would say, oh, if you go and a certain part of your group are going around acting like jerks and you don't say anything, then you're kind of accountable and I can kind of blame that whole group. Like we'll say, all right, if people said, well, the Christians, they have the KKK, that's kind of a thing of the past now. I mean, it still exists.
I know what you're saying.
And like the KKK, but I'm happy to say, look, I think those guys are wrong and they're acting ridiculous. So then, therefore, that's people in the Christian community speaking out. So I feel like law enforcement might want to say, hey, if somebody comes to a checkpoint and I get nervous and just shoot them in the face, that might be wrong. And I know they're like, well, we're a brotherhood. We got to stick together and all defend each other. But that's maybe not the direction that we should be going. Thoughts?
Yeah, I hear the term like, a couple of bad apples.
Yeah, there's just a couple.
But what is the rest of the phrase? A couple of bad apples spoil the whole bunch, right?
So they are all spoiled.
Well, unless you speak up. I had a friend of mine that was a police officer, and he said that he did not like the police union. He said because they only protect the shitty cops. Because people that do shitty things, that's who the police union sticks up for, and it makes them all look kind of bad.
It does.
That's just one police officer's opinion. It's not, obviously it's not. I can't speak whatever, I can't say what everybody thinks. But CNN just had, this was their headline. It said, new ICE policy allows officers to enter homes without a judge's warrant.
Now, how does that work?
Well, CNN said, new ICE policy allows officers. I don't see how that's allowed. They
say it like
you can just say our policy. It's our policy that the Fourth Amendment does not apply to.
There you go.
Anybody. So if they don't need a warrant to enter a home to get somebody that is potentially a illegal immigrant,
right?
They can actually go into any home because they don't need a fucking warrant.
Well, because I don't know who's in there. You know, Kevin, that guy.
It could be anybody in that house.
His skin was darker than mine, so I'm a little suspicious. I did see him with a bag from Taco Bell, Kevin.
Let me just recommend, though, going forward at this point.
Yes.
If anybody ever breaks into your home,
shoot him in
don't
the face.
resist. Just do whatever they tell you to, because maybe it's a cop. Who fucking knows at this point? Because they can just come in.
They can dress any way they want, wear masks.
Mm-hmm. Don't defend yourself in your own home anymore because you might be a terrorist.
Kevin, the Fourth Amendment, it protects us from unreasonable search.
Mm-hmm.
It protects us from, wait for it, no-knock warrants. It protects us from asset forfeiture. You know how they come in and they're like, I don't think you should have a gun. I'm just going to take it away. It protects you from that. Remember, there was that way back when red flag laws, Trump was running around. Let's just take away their guns and then they can go through the courts later.
Right.
Yeah. You know, that kind of thing. That's a problem. All right. The Fifth and the 14th Amendment protect due process. All right. You actually get a fair trial and to face your accuser, that kind of thing. Detention. They address administrative punishment instead of replacing the courts. Have you seen they just like delegate things without a trial? It's crazy. Now, the First Amendment, right? You're supposed to be able to protest policing. That doesn't seem to go well for people. Showing out and saying, hey, I think ICE is getting out of control. We're going to stand around and support our community and let these people know, hey, we don't want to, I have no problem with the cops following the laws and, dealing with people, but we send such a mixed message as society. And here's where I have the problem, right? We're telling people, hey, you can get an employee identification number and you can work and get a job and pay taxes. We're not going to give you any of the benefits of those taxes, but you can pay taxes. And then we're going to actually look and say who used these employee identification numbers. They're shady. They don't have a social security number. Let's go no-knock warrant and bust into their house and go drag them out in the street and arrest them. This is a problem. Kevin, it can't be like that.
Yeah. Well, so let's run through something here. Just a hypothetical. This is October 2024. A team at the University of Pennsylvania Center for Ethics and Rule of Law ran a tabletop exercise simulating how a modern American Civil War might begin.
All right.
So the most likely scenario would be that a president orders a highly unpopular federal law enforcement operation in a major city and local officials resist, courts freeze, and federal agents clash with state authorities. So if you're trying to start a civil war, like, this is your action. This is what you would do. What's happening right now.
Kevin, it does sound like a bad path. And that's the thing, right? I have no problem enforcing laws and things, but that's one of the things is on paper, we're protected from all the, we still have rights.
Right.
But
technically,
if it's one of those, we set up a checkpoint and we say, hey, we want to search your car. And you say, oh, hey, I don't feel comfortable as an American citizen with you searching my car when you don't have any probable cause and you don't have a warrant. And then they say, well, that's my probable cause. That
you refuse to let me search. Yeah.
See what they did there? And that's one of those things that actually happens. Or they say, that's fine, but I don't feel safe. I need to get a dog to come sniff your car for cocaine. And you have to sit here for 45 minutes and be late for work unless you just let me search. And I can tell you that this dog is going to smell drugs in your car and we are going to search it.
That's the thing with the dog is they always alert. They
They're
always say
animals.
they smell something.
They just kind of do whatever.
Right. They do what they're trained to do, which is to alert and let you know that there's drugs in the car, whether there are or not. And also, if somebody does search your car, they can take all your shit out of your car and throw it on the street, smash it up, break anything they want, rip your seats up, and then that's your problem. They don't they take your laptop out and throw it on the street and smash it. They don't have to buy you a new laptop.
No.
That's just your problem.
You never had a laptop.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, exactly. Now the truth is coming
One
out.
time I had a job where they bought me a laptop, but
There
then
you go.
I had to give it back when I left. So.
That sounds right. I don't know. It's crazy. But that's the thing is they just keep reaching. And I understand, just because you maybe agree with, hey, there shouldn't be people who are working outside the system who are maybe breaking laws, but I agree with the way we're handling it, because police overreach is never going to be an okay thing. It's kind of, you go back to the stories when they were, rounding up people in Germany, and they would be like, oh, well, I didn't stand up for them because I'm not an illegal immigrant. So, I mean,
Right.
Obviously I just, wasn't my problem.
Yeah, that's the Jews' problem.
That's the Jews' problem. And then, and then they come for the Catholics, and the Catholics say, well, I'm not Catholic, so I don't have to worry about it. And then there's nobody left to stand up for me, right? This is the story, but it's a real thing, right? So they just keep pushing, and you get so caught up in the moment of let me panic and react about, well, those people probably deserve it. But I got to tell you, these checkpoints and the way they're just rating everybody and whatever, it's not a good look for America. It is not a good look for
federal agents going door to door.
Yeah.
Not really a not really a good look.
Now you think oh, well, they're just doing, or even better, right? Now there's stories of, we're going to go snatch the kid at school and then have them go pound on mom's door, or we'll pound on mom's door. And then they'll stand there teary-eyed at the door, and mom comes running out. Oh, baby, what's wrong? And then, SWAT teams and zip cuffs. And
yep,
it's not really a good look for America.
Yeah. Anytime you're detaining a child under the age of 10,
Or
something's wrong. Something ain't right, And that's been happening multiple times. So we'll see I mean, maybe they're great fathers. Maybe these ICE agents are really caring, loving people that just want to take care of children.
You always have
appear that way though.
You always have protective services come in and are oh, we don't think you're being a good parent. I heard dad can be violent. How does that look for these ICE agents? Are they under suspicion? Because
they are. I don't know, man.
People who maybe are having trouble controlling their emotions.
Yeah, it seems to me that there's a lot of people that in that agency that don't have a problem beating the shit out of women.
Oh, Kevin, it's not a good look for freedom.
Yeah, no, you're right.
You're
right. So on that point, 68% of Americans now think the United States is in rapid decline. So the vast majority of Americans agree that things are going badly and getting worse every day.
Dude, I got to tell you, I went to the grocery store this last week, and I feel like it was dramatically more expensive than 3 weeks earlier.
Yeah.
In 3 weeks, you were oh, things are a little, and I'm not talking about one grocery store. I'm talking about, I went to several, different ones in that time period, and things are going up. There is still a little inflation. I know everybody's telling me Trump's got it completely under control and we don't need to worry. Things are all looking up.
That inflation problem is solved, he said. So
solved.
You don't have to worry about that.
I'm a little worried.
They're not going up anymore. It's not going up anymore. He said so.
Kevin, I'm a little worried. I look at my silver and I'm yay, my silver's worth a lot of money. And we got problems. So I'm just saying that it's a thing. So please, look into that. Look into finding other ways to secure, to take care of your family. But also just remember, when you stand up for rights for one person, silver's over 100, Kevin. Silver's 103.90 today.
An ounce?
An ounce. It hadn't broke the $100 threshold, I thought. And I guess gold is 5,000 an ounce. That's a new one too. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a lot, dude.
I remember when I bought my wife's wedding ring, like the gold ring is what cost money. Like the stones in the ring, that was just some extra change.
I mean, they're just rocks. Let's talk about this gold band. Oh, you want a fat one? You want to look like you're a baller?
Yeah. You got to be a baller.
I got away cheap because she bought the wedding rings for some reason. I don't know. I must have tricked her or something. I don't know what happened. But then I lost my wedding ring because that's,
Oh, dude, you lost it and you didn't even buy it?
I didn't even buy it. And now I'm rocking like the little silicone band.
That's really the way to go. Well, if you're a man, that's really
a freaking electrician.
Yeah.
And I put my hands in,
I know somebody that had a situation where they were, what do they call it? Degloving.
Yeah,
they were on a metal rack and they jumped down and their the ring got caught and just ripped everything off of there.
Yeah, I work in that kind of industrial setting, and I gotta say, a breakaway ring, not a bad thing. Yeah. And not getting electrocuted because you have a freaking electricity antenna on your finger, that's also not a bad thing. Mm-hmm. Turns out gold, one of the reasons it's so valuable, super conductive.
Yeah, so silver, right.
Oh, silver, yeah. Well, so that's the thing is, right? So you can make really small electronics with silver because it's really conductive, but then you can go really, really small with gold because it's even more conductive. So if you're doing those, little things, but the beauty is you only need a tiny bit when you do really, really tiny. So that's the secret of the pros. But anyway, I'm a little shocked with the silver. It's funny. The app I'm in right now says as low as you can buy a silver gold eagle as low as $116.39, Kevin.
Ooh.
That's a bargain. It's a coin. You play pinball with that thing.
Now, if you're running down to McDonald's,
yes,
cash is out the window now. Like it's the end of the world, but you want a cheeseburger.
I do like a good cheeseburger, Kevin.
What are you going to use that silver coin for? Like, how many times do you have to cut that thing in half before it's cheeseburger?
That's the beauty is I just bring a file and I just shave some dust
that's
like
dust a little off.
Like bring out that cheese grater you guys got in the back. I'll just little dust
slide a silver off. I feel like gold would be you could divide that up pretty good, but I don't know how malleable silver is.
Gold is soft. I'll give you that, but I don't know. I just feel like, but back to the police state here. It just right. So if you stand up, you're part of the problem, and all of a sudden you're on the watch list and whatever. And obviously, if you resist at all, you're just going to get a black and blue face, and there's always more of them, right? It's never going to end well trying to fight a cop. It's kind of like fighting a dog. It's not going to win. It's never going to be good for you. Right. But the more you stand up or speak out against these laws, well, the more we physically act out against them, the more it's justified, right? And they're like, oh, we need body armor. These are people trying to protect Americans, and they need the protection. And that's why we need armored vehicles, and that's why we need to stand on the corner in New York City with M16s or, whatever it is. And I guess M4s, I guess that would be more appropriate.
That's what they're used, yeah.
And, but that's the thing is they have, all these, they justify it by the reaction they get, and it just escalates. and
Right.
never ends. And that's where I'm really concerned for America.
Yeah,
And
civilizations don't die. Civilizations die from suicide, not murder. That's Howard Zinn said that. So that's you don't. The United States is never going to be conquered by another country. The only way this country dies is if we kill ourselves.
And we're on our way, man. We're just making some bad choices. So what do you do, right? I'd say electing a good sheriff. That's a great place to start. Your sheriff is your best line of defense against government overreach. Now, he can obviously be part of the problem, or he can be part of the solution, because he's kind of that barrier and brings a community together. Obviously, voting for politicians that, again, you really don't have great choices coming out of Washington or that kind of thing.
No. By the time you're in a position to be elected to Congress or to the Senate, you're already so deep in the shit that, it's not worth it. You can vote in your primaries, but I mean, really,
just
think
local is the way to start. I mean, obviously, you vote for the president. You're going to pick the best guy, and that's the thing. Like, I don't necessarily. There are so many. You're just like, they're just bad choices, and you have to weigh out.
I would have killed for George W. Bush in the last election, and he was a terrible president.
Dude, I'm dreaming of like somebody like Slick Willie coming back,
You know what I'm saying?
I'm like, man, I'd take that in a heartbeat.
I look back at some of the terrible presidents we had, and then like, I wish we had somebody like that. Remember Andrew Johnson? They consider him the worst president that we ever had. He took over after Lincoln was shot, and during his speech, his inauguration. No, it was Lincoln's inauguration speech. He gave his speech, and he was so drunk that nobody even understood what he was saying. I would love a president that's just so drunk that nothing happens. You know what I mean?
Yes. Oh, that president's ineffective. Yes.
Yes, that's the one I want.
That's the one. No, I get it. No, it's a bad taste and a bad look for America when, we're kicking indoors and snatching babies. And so,
and it's, it's a confidence problem too. You know what I mean? That people, only 36% of Americans polled believe that believe that hard work pays off.
Oh,
that's not like
I know a lot of people who are working very hard and they don't have a lot to show for it. So I can understand why that, dude,
ask anybody that hangs drywall for a living.
Yeah. I work with people who work 70 hours a week, and that's insane to me. I can't even imagine 70, and like legit, like I'm not, exaggerating or, being ridiculous. It's that crazy. And they're not living the high dollar lifestyle. So
no, I work about 75 or 65 hours a week every week, and
it's exhausting.
It's exhausting, and I still have a hard time covering all my bills. And I don't do stuff. You know what I mean? It's not like I go out to dinner. I don't go out on vacation.
No, I know it. So anyway, if you appreciate the podcast, make sure you guys like, subscribe, that kind of thing. We really, it really helps out, helps grow the channel. But even better though, tell people about it. Turn people on, show them your favorite episode. Tell us about your favorite episode. All right. So email us at preppingbadass@gmail.com. Otherwise, I would say stay safe, and we will talk to you guys, if I can find the end, next week.